how much American media dominates the TikTok app specifically. Because when we left, there was like this whole joke about Americans leaving, right? And timelines being like boring or dry or whatever. And like, of course I'm an American, so like I hear this through the American lens. But I didn't realize like how much other countries didn't want us to go in some ways. But I do think that it's good in that it leveraged other countries' media. Like, it's only once in a while that I'll see like an Irish creator or a UK creator or a Kenyan creator. We want that content too as Americans.
Hi, my friends. The Chinese New Year is coming soon. If you want to say Happy New Year to your Chinese friends, you can say 新年快乐,新年快乐. Got it?
This is going to be a quick rant about Redbook. The fact of the matter is that going over to Redbook was such an eye-opening experience. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that the American government does fuel propaganda, and they rely on that propaganda and ignorance to make sure that Americans don't see a better system and prefer that system and then just, stand up against the current system that's in charge, trying to dismantle it. Because remember, America is not a country. It is a bunch of corporations just running the country and figuring out the best and most efficient and most brutal way to exploit us. Having my interactions in Redbook has been incredible. One of the biggest things that I've noticed is that someone out there, some CIA agent, is spreading the motherfucking lie that America has free health care. Do you not know how many people have asked me in Chinese, hey, do you have free health care? No, we do not. No, we do not. It is not free here. I told them my experience with the healthcare system, how much I have to pay a month, talking about deductibles and all this other shit. And they're just shocked. Mouths just dropped open because they're like, well, our healthcare system isn't like that. We just have a government mandated healthcare system. And if we want more health insurance, we just get supplemental health insurance or secondary health insurance. And also the government covers depending on how much your salary is. They only take 8% of your salary, which amounts to like a little bit like $400 or less than that. It is absolutely nuts. And yet we keep thinking in this country that we pay $800, $700, these exorbitant monthly subscription fees to United Healthcare, that it's good because we invested so much money in it. But even then, it's still not that good because they could still just deny giving you healthcare. Also, you remember that period of time where all of a sudden every American news site was talking about how China is using a social credit system, and we just believed that because we had no one else to confirm that, and we kind of relied on the news to give us true and accurate news. Turns out they don't actually use that social credit system that we were fear-mongered into believing. It's not real. And Chinese people are just like, why do you believe that? And look, I'm not glazing China for everything, right? I'm not going to be one of those weirdos that defend Eastern countries because they're just Eastern. China does have flaws. China's government does have flaws. One party system, not good. One party system, not good. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, y'all. America could still take the good shit from China and implement it into our own country. How about them apples? We could actually take them billions and damn near trillions of dollars that we pass through our country's economy and funnel just a slice of that into the American working class and to make lives genuinely better. To put regulations on companies so that they can't buy neighborhoods. Maybe even invest in better education instead of trying to dismantle it, and make sure everyone has the chance to go to college if they wanted to get a higher education so they can get out of poverty. It's just wild to me. But when I say this, right, the anti-communist propaganda imp in our brains that were installed since we were babies starts freaking the fuck out because it's not good for American companies. All I'm saying is this. What is the point of having a strong country or calling yourself a strong country when your citizens are starving, sick, and homeless? China got that covered. China got it covered with their citizens. They take care of their citizens, and people are happier for it. I have never seen people take more pride in their country than China. And I thought America was number one in that shit. We're not. Because there's so many deep fissures and cracks in this country caused by unfettered, unregulated capitalism that, frankly, we're just all jaded. We just don't like this country anymore because of the bullshit we have to deal with.
In the US, we have been propagandized since birth to believe that not only do people in other countries hate us, but that we are so much better than all these people and that we have so much more access to things and so much more money and live in a better society. We make more money, we have more opportunity, like you name it, that's what they've told us about other countries. And yeah, like quite a few of us know that that's bullshit, but there is an entire group of people that have no idea that that's not true. And after this stunt that they have pulled trying to take this app away from us, how many people went over to Rednote and are now seeing that it's not true? The Chinese people are on there literally making videos saying like, hey guys, like we do not hate you. We like you a lot. And people are seeing videos about what their lives are like, and it's so much better than what we have here. And people are shocked. People are like minds blown about this. And the crazy part is that Chinese people thought that we hated them too. And this is all the result of propaganda. Stop listening to everything that they tell you. If you are told something, if you have this belief that you held your whole life, it might just not be true.
I seriously spent my entire life believing that the entire rest of the world was Wonderland, and I was Alice, somehow still underneath the tree, like watching in and thinking that everything about the way that the rest of the world worked and operated was nonsense, and they were somehow doing it all backwards. And now I have been on Xiaohongshu, god damn it, Xiaohongshu. There's a way you're supposed to say that. There's a thing called tonality in Mandarin, and I'm trying. But on Xiaohongshu, and I've had some of the most deep, meaningful conversations that I've had with anybody on this planet in the last, 5 to 6 days, because all they want to do is get to know you. And the fact that I am feeling like even just like a tiny little bit of like, is there an ulterior motive here? Like just shows like how much I have been groomed to fear everything that's going on outside of what we consider to be normal in this country. Like the fact that they want to get to know us and they want to teach us their values and they want to teach us their way of life and help and really spread the message of unity and peace and love and I don't know, communal benefits. The fact that there's even just like even a hint of suspicion there that they could have ulterior motives was planted at some point in my life because we were taught that there was something to be feared about that particular part of the world. And I'm coming to realize that that they are not Wonderland. We are in Wonderland, guys. We're in Wonderland. And they're peering in on us asking, what are you doing? And I realized that the only thing that would make sense in terms of why would my culture want to plant seeds for decades, centuries even, against that particular way of life is because it's not that the people themselves are the enemy, it's the ideologies that are enemies. And they're enemies particularly to, I'm nervous to even say the word, Capitalism. It's just an enemy to capitalism, not to each other, but to that particular way of doing things.
If there is a lesson to be learned from the potential TikTok ban and the current migration to Rednote, it's that beneath all the drama and the fear-mongering by our governments, we are all the same. Browsing through Rednote gives me that same vibe that I get when I'm visiting a foreign country. Whenever I visited a foreign country, as long as I entered their spaces with respect and humility, I was almost always treated with the same respect in return. And many people are finding the same to be true over on Rednote. There's just a really beautiful irony in all of this. While Donald Trump is over here talking about colonizing the rest of the world so they can all share in the joy of being Americans, millions of actual Americans are considering making a Chinese app their new virtual home. Instead of dividing the world, they may have inadvertently brought us all a little bit closer together. We have American creators literally going viral already on Rednote. People are getting hundreds of thousands of views on their very first post to a predominantly Chinese audience. Millions of Chinese and U.S. citizens are now directly sharing stories and cultures and perspectives with each other. It's poetic justice and it's absolutely incredible. While our governments are fighting like a married couple on the verge of divorce, the global citizens are down here building bridges. While our leaders impose sanctions, we're sharing insights into our thoughts and opinions and into our daily lives. This migration to Rednote is more than just a reaction to TikTok being banned. It's a collective revelation that we are simply not willing to go back to the status quo. TikTok has taught us that culture is not a weapon to be used against each other. It is a gift that enriches both the giver and the receiver. And our culture has forever been changed. Regardless of whether TikTok is saved or Rednote becomes a new platform or not, we have proven that we have the power to change the world. One post, one video, one connection at a time.
I joined the Chinese app Xiaohongshu, still working on the pronunciation. And it has been an absolute wild ride. And if you joined, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, because the interactions that we have been having with people across the planet that for the most part in our culture have been kind of villainized, has been eye-opening, to say the least. And to illustrate this, I'm going to give you just one message exchange that I have had with a complete stranger across the pond, a complete stranger. I also want to add that this is like a middle-aged male who has kids, and I have felt absolutely no like weirdness with him. If a man like this was interacting with me on the internet, I would feel kind of like weird, you know what I mean? You don't get that at all with any of the people that you're interacting with on this particular platform. I feel like a dog that's been kicked as an American citizen, that this is so shocking to me. It is like an actual culture shock. Okay, so listen, you need to listen.
I'm not quite sure how to help you.
Not you, Alexa. He sends me this picture. Keep in mind, I don't know what this symbol is. I have to press the translate button. I'm like, what? Why is he sending me this? Here it is. I will come to my dad's house for dinner this weekend. This is the character Fu on their wall, which I took a photo of to send to you. In China, Fu symbolizes blessings and goodness. May you have a joyful and happy new year filled with abundant blessings. China has a cultural heritage of 5,000 years, which means we have a long history on Earth. We have experienced wars, poverty, and oppression. Therefore, when we have been through hardships, we hope to provide support for others. We hope to provide support with all the complexities of the world. Why is it so hard to believe? Why is unity difficult? Why are there obstacles? There is an ancient Chinese saying, the friendship between countries lies in the affinity between their people, meaning that the interaction between nations cannot be separated from the interaction and tolerance among their people. During the Chinese New Year, I recommend you and your friends watch the Chinese Spring Festival Gala. We are not just performing for ourselves, but conveying the power of unity to the whole world. We need to share the beauty together, meaning that the wonderful present needs to be shared and experienced by all of us, and we need to contribute to the world together. Mutual learning and exchange are very important, meaning that each of our countries has good aspects that are beneficial to the development of each other's countries. However, the reality is how much we want the other party to understand and comprehend. Now, we rely on the unremitting efforts of each individual for our own development, which is why Chinese people on the Zhaohongshu also realize that I am the best ambassador to promote my own country. Come to China if you have the chance. It will definitely change many foreigners' perceptions. Chinese people have known the meaning of unity since childhood, and indeed they deeply love the people of the world. I can understand the letter you wrote to me. It's very coherent. I'm very grateful that you like my country. Using red lanterns and other decorations during festivals can create a very festive atmosphere at home, just like how you must have a Christmas tree for Christmas. Yes, China has made tremendous efforts quietly to let the outside world understand us. Today you are on Xiaohongshu, Little Red Book, which was originally aimed at the domestic audience, but to welcome you, they have been working day and night to improve and perfect various functions for a better experience for you. The Chinese people are definitely not as described. Translation. We have long been undervalued. Oh, yeah. I think what she's trying to say is that the Chinese people are definitely not well described. We have long been undervalued and faced with technological blockades, but this has never stopped every Chinese person's eagerness to learn. The earth is a complete home, and it's not easy to come here. Whether we are enemies or friends, real grassroots exchanges are very important. If you have the chance, you and your family would always be welcome. Today is the Minor New Year in northern China, and I wish you and your family a happy new year. May you have good fortune and happiness. If that's communist propaganda, I don't know.
So like many other Americans, I too went on Rednote during the 18-hour TikTok ban. First of all, the Rednote ban was the single funniest thing I think we did as a user population. Whoever came up with that is a genius. I don't know how that spread like wildfire, but 10 out of 10. And I'm gonna stay even if TikTok doesn't get banned in America. The reason I'm keeping it is because I didn't realize how centered American media was on social media platforms. I knew it was dominated in TV, right? We hear about that a lot, but I didn't realize how much that extended to platforms like TikTok. I just thought it was because I was in America, and so I saw a lot of American content because, my geolocation. But when I went on Rednote, I realized how much American media dominates the TikTok app specifically, because when we left there was this whole joke about Americans leaving, right, and timelines being boring or dry or whatever, and of course I'm an American, so I hear this through the American lens, but I didn't realize how much other countries didn't want us to go in some ways. But I do think that it's good in that it leveraged other countries' media. It's only once in a while that I'll see an Irish creator or a UK creator or a Kenyan creator. We want that content too as Americans, especially because we are so insulated in our own American media bubble, and obviously that's becoming more and more the case because this app works a lot differently than it used to for us in terms of the content that we're shown. And I wish that it was more evenly distributed. I want to stay on Rednote because I see how other people live and how healthy they eat and how stable they are and how much less stress it seems like they have in other countries, to the point where America is just a television show to them. It's our lives, right? It is scary, but I could see how from other countries' perspectives, you're just sitting there with your popcorn, what is going to happen to this country who has been so subject to modern day propaganda, and it's become so much of an issue that we're descending into fascism by way of gradual oligarchy. Just sitting there and be wow, this young country is really kind of imploding. Anyway, all this to say, I like Rednote. I'm gonna stay. I've learned so many hot tea recipes and beauty secrets, and I like seeing what they eat. I've made a couple recipes and it's super fun, and I wish that we had more of a global platform. I think TikTok was supposed to be that, and it is in some ways, but a lot of countries don't have access to TikTok. I wish there was something that had evenly distributed media across different countries so that we could really talk to each other in a way that was not so insulated. Anyway, I like it. I'm staying.
We've heard from all of them, and we are happy that they are experiencing this after being in contact with Rednote, which is a Chinese app. But I have a question for you. Is TikTok censored for only white Americans? Because from what I'm seeing is like black Americans know how the rest of the world is, but most people who say we didn't know that they had cars, they had food, they had this, all that, are white Americans. So I'm looking for those content creators who will come and speak in all honesty that they were boycotting others' content. Whenever they scroll and they see it's not an American accent, kind of, they just, yeah, swipe, up or left, wherever you swipe to. I want people who will be that honest. As someone who has used a different TikTok account and do interact with different people from all over the world, depending on what I want to see on my For You page, I stand to oppose that. You can't tell me that on your For You page we're running only American creators, because others are also famous and their content in Kenya that's trend in other countries in the US, and yeah, that means that it was that swiping, I don't know you, I don't want to hear from you, because we are the world, and I'm happy that you are seeing things with length that are not yours, that are not of these guys, of that American ideology that tend to think that you are above everyone, and that's what I'm appreciating here. And this was an awakening, and also there's something that I've noted from the whole Rednote situation is that Americans weren't speaking the truth about the situation that they were living. We could just see few people speaking of small challenges, but not everyone as a collective was coming on media and see their problems. So they were suffering, they were struggling. We could see the child free movement, the what, and then people who are in Africa are looking at that as the standard of life, Americans are doing this, so this is the way to go, without having the full picture. I know that this is going to be also a change for those from those who always copy from the Western. They will understand that it's they were hiding, they were living a nightmare kind of fear, a myth of things. But now that the reality is out there, it is helping the entire world. I know by now the person who created this app, Rednote, is now feeling like there's something that they have added into the world. And I just want to let you know that it's not just the US that is benefiting from this app, but the whole world is getting to see the real image of the so-called the world, the biggest country in the world. We are getting to see the lie that was sold to us, that our people who are in Africa wouldn't want to stay in their continent and develop it, but would always want to go out there. So we are getting to see the full picture, and also with the issue with immigrants and stuff, we are getting to see the full picture with everything that you guys are saying. So I love and appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. Those are my 2 cents on this. I don't know what you think about this. Leave your thoughts in the comment section and let's interact. Thank you. Appreciate you. Kindly, you can as well support the channel through the love button down there. Yeah, goodbye.